I've got a man that is pacing the floor. The Macho Man, Randy Savage.
I heard what you said about me a few days ago, yeah. My curiosity is killing me just like a cat would be killed by the curiosity, yeah. I'm your friend, and I don't think that you can separate business from friendship. And you know what? Your mustache is crooked.
Your beard is a little sideways, too.
Don't you think I have a little bit of interest right there?
I'm a bigger man. How did we get into this?
Because of the fact, through the line in the sand.
That's not my nature, but I don't want to get into that.
Okay, man.
I think
friendships, business is business. Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhythm Section podcast, presented to you by SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. Thank you for being here, everybody. This podcast is here to spotlight the greater Memphis and North Mississippi music community.
Video episodes publish every Monday on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. Central, and the audio episodes publish every Monday morning on all the major streaming platforms. Go to the rhythmsectionpod.com for any information you'd like.
And we have merch, hats, shirts, mugs, tumblers, and free stickers at Boba Cream, 131 West Commerce Street in Hernando, Mississippi. We actually have a retail location, so please patronize the place. Go to msbobacream.com, order a drink, buy a shirt, and make everybody happy. And we are looking for sponsors, Jeff. The Rhythm Section podcast is looking to partner with businesses that want to support this platform through sponsoring and advertising, but also getting a lot of reach. Your business will get exposure and brand awareness with an average monthly reach of 70,000. But the best part is your support will help this podcast brighten the spotlight. I've got to redo my script. That hangs over this wonderful, beautiful, fantastic, sexy music community. For more information, click the sponsor form link in the description or go to the rhythmsectionpod.com and click the sponsor tab.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I got to rewrite that. It's all my fault.
You did great.
I mean, it's written in front of me and I still stumble. Right? Jeff, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Good. We just had usually we do our intro and then we have a guest come in and then that's our day. But today we flipped around and we had Charlene in with us today, coming out later. But it was a good time and it just put me in a good mood.
Yep.
So I'm here to play and have fun.
It was a great interview. I had a blast.
So our guest today is a gentleman by the name of Travys Starr.
Right.
He is a musician, songwriter, and not from here originally. Moved in. Well, there's more into his story, but he came in here from Seattle, I believe.
Yep.
And this booking was you just put it out there on Facebook for the hell of it, like, hey, just looking for a guest.
I think we had a cancellation one Sunday. It was kind of last minute, and so rather than trying to reach out to individuals and saying, hey, are you free or whatever, I just put a post out there and said, the first person that shoots me a PM, you're coming in for an interview.
Yep. And Travys Starr.
Travis
was that guy. So, but we'll talk more about him in a minute. And but today, timeline stuff here. We are going to thank everyone for coming to our watch party. Even though in present time, as me and Jeff record, this hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet.
We're recording on the 9th. It happens on the 10th. But thanks for being here, everyone. By the time you're listening to this, of the 1,000 people that showed up, you really showed up and showed out. We appreciate you.
And we know you loved Rocco's pillow.
That's right. So next episode we will be talking about that. But I'm positive it was a good time.
For sure.
It had to have been.
You know it was.
Yeah, sure. All right, Jeff, you went out this weekend.
I did. I had some time to get out and check out a band, and Frankie Holly and the Noise. I've known Frankie for many years. Frankie's been doing this for many years. Jeff Cobble is now playing with Frankie, our buddy Jeff. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I would go out and show them some love and check them out at your favorite venue, in the whole world.
Well, let's not get polarizing here.
Well,
We're trying to be nice to everybody.
We're not.
But
Look, we're not saying anything derogatory about Mulligan's 64. It's just that it is still a smoking bar.
That's right.
That's not for everybody.
Yeah,
Drives me crazy. Even
I played,
and it's loud in there. Good God, it's loud.
I played St. Patty's there this year with Mudflap King. First time I walked into that place in years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to go to the bathroom and just halfway empty the paper towel dispenser and take that stuff to the stage. I'm blowing my nose during in between songs.
Yeah.
My sinuses, my allergies went nuts. So, yeah, but for smokers, I can see why it's
great for them.
Deal.
And then look, I get it. We have venues that don't allow it. We still have some venues that allow it.
Yeah.
And I've got terrible allergies, and boy, my eyes were just burning. But anyway, back to Frankie and them. A great job. I don't know the name of every member of the band. Frankie's the lead guy. Bill Frazier plays drums, and our buddy Cobble on lead guitar. And there's a female lead singer, and I'm sorry I didn't look her name up, but she killed it. And the bass player, I don't remember his name. I apologize again. But,
there it is again.
But it's
and we talked to Shar about this.
Actually, this was last minute, so you can't get on to me for this.
But no, when you booked our guests, it was a ton of drummers, and no bass players, and no women. So I was like, dude, we need more bass players and more women. And sure enough,
right
here it is. You don't know the bass player and woman's name. It's all good.
I'm sorry. I know.
Just
Anyway,
you're a pig.
Good to know. All right.
Man. Let's talk about our buddies Fever Tree for a minute.
Yeah. They just did. They recorded new music.
Yeah.
And it's not out yet.
And we feel like we can talk about it because they
posted on Facebook.
Yeah, working in the studio with our buddy Jimmy Fulp, Broken
Snare. Yeah.
And I hung out with him for it. I just after John Peterson, my lookalike, minus the ears,
right?
Finished the drum tracks, but then I hung out for the rest. It was just awesome. Yeah. Everyone knows by now they're good buddies of ours.
Yeah.
Fantastic people, just fun to be around. Jimmy's great. It was a great atmosphere. It's going to be awesome. It's going to sound good. I was there.
Yeah.
And the rough mix is already great, but
I'm looking forward to hearing it, man.
It was fun.
Yep. Love those guys, and just glad they're getting new music ready to come out.
Yep, soon. So no big announcement on when. And again, we only feel comfortable talking about it because they posted some funny videos of John playing the cowbell.
Yeah. Right.
Jimmy plays Jimmy's the star tambourine player.
Right.
On the cut.
I posted this morning on Facebook that I had one of those little egg shakers. That if they would let me come in, I could add that to the track.
Well, they don't want to give you writing credits.
I know. I understand. And you talked to Mr. Fulp about something that we're going to be doing.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think you need to let everybody know
how
this is going to work.
So Jimmy came up with this idea, and I know Jimmy and Don are watching. Love y'all.
We do love you.
They're hanging out in the living room right now. Probably. Yeah. I know Donna's got her seat.
Yeah.
She's got her seat.
Right.
I don't know where Jimmy sits, but
wherever Donna says.
So Jimmy actually came up with this idea a while back. He texted us randomly, and I thought it was an awesome idea. And then now an opportunity has come where we're going to do it. And the idea is for Jimmy to come in here and interview us and flip it around.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun. I'm going to let him literally sit in my seat and run the board, and he's going to have access to all the sounds. I'm just going to let him, I'll tell him how it all works. But, and the reason this is cool is it is important when you're trying to build a relationship with your audience as a host, it's okay to be vulnerable, but you don't have to be super vulnerable, but just let them in. Right. Who are they listening to? Be personable. And it's good that, if you listen to a show, you want to know who your host is. You want to learn more about their life.
Right.
Well, you and I show a little bit, in our intros. People get to know us. They're getting to know us. They know our personality and everything, but they don't know, even though episode 1 or 2, whatever, we talked about how we started playing as musicians and everything. But, no one listened to those.
Yeah. Well,
but no, they did. It was fun. But it's important that it'd be nice to kind of let our audience know a little more what we do. I still get all the time, are you a musician? and
Yeah.
we're the Rhythm Section podcast and that type of stuff. With that said, it would be weird if you and I popped up and said, hey guys, just so you know, this next hour is completely dedicated to me and Jeff just talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
It's different. But having that facilitator in, that third party to come in,
Right.
and then Jimmy can ask questions on the fly, whatever he's interested in. And you and I can just sit back and have fun in hopes that people will, engage. They get to know us better.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Know our history a little bit, where we're from.
It'll be fun.
Who our influences are, that type of stuff.
We'll probably have a Derek Michaud look-alike contest with you and Jimmy.
That's right. Like today, I'll make sure I'm freshly. My dome is shiny.
Right.
And I'll make sure it's all.
We can have John Patterson come at the same time and have panel of 3 people in the contest.
Where's Derek? What happened to him? But so that's coming up. Just we don't know the published date yet. It all started this one because we had a cancellation.
Yeah.
And not to drop names, but we had a cancellation with Sleep Theory.
Yeah.
They were supposed to come in.
They got a pretty legit reason.
Yeah, so now they're out hitting the road with some small band called Shinedown, and there it is.
Yeah.
So we had an open day, and I was like, hey, let's contact Jimmy, see if we want to do this. So that's coming up down the road, just kind of giving you some forecasting.
Right.
Well, what do you say, Jeff? Let's talk about our friend Travis.
Let's do it. The first topic you have on the sheet, I remember this vividly.
Okay, go for it.
Because we said, well, what, how do you describe your music? It's moody music for moody people. I said, well, hell, Derek, he's going to love your stuff, man. But no,
I'm totally balanced.
That's pretty, that's a pretty memorable comment. I remember that. Yeah. We recorded this interview quite a while back.
Yes.
So it's hard to remember everything we talked about. And without your wonderful notes, we'd really be in trouble.
And I had to go back and watch some of the clips and everything too.
Yeah.
But we've been sitting on this one a minute, and we were like, man, we got to put our buddy out here.
Right.
Well, he's probably wondering what the hell's going on. So
he probably is.
So and we talk about he lived in Seattle, right in the heart of the grunge.
Yeah.
And he's 2 years older than me. That's what we talked about to try to get perspective. I was like, man, I graduated in 96, but he graduated in 94. So he was like 16, 17 when the shit hit the fan.
Right.
And we'd get into that. And I thought that was a cool perspective, not only his age, but he lived there.
Sure.
He was right there when all that stuff was breaking down. So that was interesting. And, he's an original artist.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. The band was Sun Red, but I don't think they're together anymore.
I don't believe so.
I can't remember. But we talk about the band and everything and his writing process. And it's definitely different, too.
Yeah.
It's
and I know he's talked about, putting a band together.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard him seen him talk about that on Facebook, and he mentioned it to me when I saw him at Neil's one evening, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't remember it because I think he had 20 too many.
20.
He was having a good time, man.
Yeah, he was having a good time. Yeah, what was that show? That was
I don't remember.
There's been so many.
There's been quite a few.
I'm still my system is still has been affected by the Stage Stop reunion.
I know, wasn't that great? I love it. And Travis, also a cook. He loves to cook, man. He brought us a chocolate
that's right.
pie, cake pie.
It stayed in the studio, and like every day I'd have another piece and another piece. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he brought a pie.
So he ensured.
That's right.
He made sure he would get invited back. Next time we want ribs.
No one else has brought food.
Saying.
Step it up, people. Awesome. Jeff, this is good stuff, and I hope you all enjoy. Well, first, let's remind everyone, we are looking for sponsors. Spread the word, please. Spread the word on our website, therhythmsectionpod.com. Everything is there. Right. Everything. Archive episodes, the whole bit. I should mention, you're going to notice this on our Facebook page as a way to promote the website and put it out there that I am posting archive episodes. Yep. And starting from one, moving up from the website. So much like when you share a link from YouTube, it creates that like clickable thumbnail box. The website does the same thing. But so by now there's been 2, and the first 2 is just me and you. The first 3 in total. So there's going to be 3 weeks where it's just pushing out the episodes that you and I did solo.
Throwback Thursday, everybody.
That's right. Thank you. Throwback Thursday. It's going to be every Thursday, 6 p.m. A post from a previous episode, because as we've grown now, eventually we get to our first interview that we published, which was our friend Tim Dills from Fever Tree. Well, a lot of people missed that because it's a while back.
Right.
New listeners.
Hopefully we've gained new listeners since then.
Yes. I can proudly say we have, sir.
Yes, we have.
It's good. And let's bring these back up. And eventually, I think right after Tim is Pete Mandello.
Yeah. So
there you go. So we'll be able to kind of revisit Pete and then get to hear his voice again. So this is all on Facebook, The Rhythm Section Pod, at The Rhythm Section Pod. Go to therhythmsectionpod.com to find the link. Yep. Good to go. All right, enough of us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening as always. And please enjoy our interview with Travys Starr. Let me welcome our new friend here, Travys Starr. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
So this is a cool, unique situation, as we were discussing earlier, that, this is the first time that we have a guest in here that neither of us know.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I've been the one meeting strangers. Jeff's the one that's connected to all these wonderful people.
Yeah, this is a new experience for me.
So we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Jeff, explain how this happened.
Well, yeah, our schedule's been pretty crazy since we started this, but we had the Sunday after New Year's Eve open, and I didn't figure it wasn't going to be easy to book somebody for this day.
Yeah,
I didn't want to start reaching out to people because people are just I probably played last night. I don't really want to do it. So the way I did it, I made a post on Facebook and said, "Hey, I got New Year's Day is open. The first person that sends me a freaking PM and says they want to come in and do an interview, you're the guy."
And that's Travys Starr, baby.
Travys sent me the message, and I instantly went and deleted the post I had just made so that I didn't get contacted by a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it for this particular one, because I knew it was going to be difficult to try to reach out to people to book this day.
Thank you for stepping up, Travys.
Yes, we really
thank you for
appreciate
having me.
Absolutely.
So what part of town do you live in?
I am actually down in a very tiny town called Ashland in Mississippi.
Yeah.
How far is that from here?
It's an hour from everything.
Yeah. He's not far from my farm out there.
Oh, so that way.
It's
Marshall County?
That direction.
Benton County, actually.
Further out?
Yeah.
Wow, so that's a hike for you, so I appreciate this.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I mean, like I said, everywhere we go, it's like an hour away. And I'm kind of used to that when I was in Seattle. Even if it was just like 20 miles away, it was an hour drive just because of traffic and the amount of people. Now it's just actual distance.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's pretty cool, though,
It is. It's nice. It's quiet. There's not a lot of, street lights at night, and I can see the stars, and no one complains when I play my guitar loud. So that's really good.
That's what we're going to talk about. We want to cover you as a musician and an artist and everything. You have a band called Sun Red, moody music for moody people. And, I'm definitely the moody person.
Sounds like my wife should listen to this. No, I'm kidding, sweetheart. Total joke.
But, okay, you mentioned Seattle. So is that where you're from?
Yeah, I grew up in Washington, in a small town, much like I live in now. But when I was a teenager, I moved to Tacoma, which is a slightly bigger town, and then eventually moved to Seattle, mid-'90s, I want to say. I started playing in bands in the bar scene there.
Okay. Was it music of the time?
Actually, no. We were probably the biggest misfit band in Seattle and Tacoma at the time. We sounded like somebody had taken Ramones music and made it easier but worse, and looked like a cheap version of Poison.
Oh, nice.
So
do you have any photographs you can share?
There are some pictures on the Book of Faces that are well hidden.
Okay.
That sounds like something I would have found on MySpace.
Yeah.
I loved MySpace.
MySpace was great when it first came out.
It's like making your own little website.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, cool. How did the bridge from Seattle or Washington State to Mississippi? And I have a story. I'm from Maine, so
Okay.
Yeah.
anytime there's a huge leap and you end up living in Mississippi, there's a story behind it.
My wife's from Alabama, and her family's all still there. And basically, it just got down to financial means. Like Seattle is just incredibly expensive to live in, and I'd like to retire someday and just focus on music and have a recording studio that I work in. And so we had talked about moving to the South for years, and then we found a house we liked, and all of a sudden we were literally driving across the country.
So when was this? What year?
Just last year. Yeah, it is last year since today's the first day of the new year.
Well, welcome to Mississippi.
Thank you.
Travis. I've been in the Memphis, North Mississippi area since 2011, so 11, 12 years now.
Right.
And I love it. I love it down here. So I think you'll enjoy it out here. It's peaceful. It's
so
cool.
far I do.
Yeah. And you may be an hour away, but this side of DeSoto, like here in DeSoto County, you get everything you need. So, and there's a lot of different places you can go to. So
the makeup of that band, Sunred, is what's the structure? Is it a guitar player, bass player, drummer, singer? How did that
It
work?
was me on guitars and vocals, bass player, keyboard player, and drummer.
Okay.
And then a lot of the recordings, it was me on keyboards, guitar, vocals,
Okay.
and then bass player and drummer.
All right. So how many instruments do you play?
The better question is, how many don't I play?
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
right there.
you do a lot of stringed instruments, keys.
Yep.
You can do it just about anything.
Yeah.
Was piano first?
Actually, yes, but it was organ first.
Okay.
And
Well, I love asking that because it just seems like anyone that starts on keys, what piano, organ, whatever it may be, the ivories, right?
Right.
That really sets you up at a young age on how to understand theory, which then can quickly transition to you in playing anything. Anything that's in this kind of tuning and everything. It's just a matter of then getting some chops, right?
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me. So it sounds like that's kind of where you started.
My grandfather brought home this beat up console organ from an auction one day, and it had like a bunch of Teach Yourself Christmas songs in it. So
there you go.
I'd play Christmas music for my family, and pretty much everyone in my family was a musician or singer or something. So it just sort of happened. And then years later, I picked up clarinet in school band. And then a few more years later, my uncle, who was a drummer, was taking guitar lessons. And I found his guitar and picked it up and could play better than he could. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a guitar.
And how old were you with the guitar?
I got my first one when I was 12.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, great age. I'm 13, 14. It's just right because you have no responsibilities.
Yeah.
And you can sit and practice for 8 hours a day.
All the time in the world.
Yeah.
Make noise and drive the parents crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, great. And I would gather because of that, when you're recording and everything, you must play a lot of bass, right? I mean, you just kind of throw in bass tracks, or
I'll throw in bass tracks. I'm not the world's best bass player. I've played bass in a couple of bands for people when their bass players quit. They're like, we need somebody. I'm like, well, I can come in and fill in. And occasionally I'll come up with a good idea and I'll show it to a real bass player, and they'll be like, oh, that's a great starting point.
It's a great starting point. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I'll take it from here. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Sunred.
Yeah. Are you looking to build that band here now?
I definitely am. I've actually had some good jam sessions and some bad jam sessions with some local players.
Yeah. So it started in Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned that here, maybe when we were talking off mic. So I want to make sure we get that in. So it started in Seattle. What year? What were we talking about?
Right before, like 6 months before the pandemic hit, we were actually starting to play shows.
Just in time, right?
Yeah, just in time to get shut down.
So mid-19.
Yeah.
Mid-19.
I got you. All right. So you've done some jam sessions here with local folks. And have you had any success? Anybody that you've liked enough to keep? Or
as of yet, no.
Okay.
I had one guy, a drummer that I really enjoyed, and he just sort of disappeared after the second jam and never heard from him again. And then there was a kid that was really interested, but not really a drummer, but he was trying really hard, but never got any better. So I was just like, we need to move on.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in Memphis. I think you'll fit in. Whatever, there's a pretty eclectic styles of music out here, man. Like, so Memphis is full of good people and players. Yeah. So I hope that you can connect with the right people.
So do I.
and look, whenever you're trying to put together something original like that, it can take time.
Oh yeah,
it's a time
it took
consuming
me
thing.
2 years to put the original band together in Seattle. before we even started working on stuff.
Right.
From the time my last project ended to the time I officially said, okay, this is the band and I have players.
Right.
I know sometimes this isn't a fun question because it's hard to answer, but if you could try to explain to us the vibe. Right now I have moody music for moody people. Can we elaborate off of that?
Yeah. So it's kind of an eclectic mashup of like dark pop, psychedelia, 70s hard rock, pretty much everything that I really love. I tried to drive into it and not pigeonhole myself into, okay, it's one particular genre. Like my previous bands were very like punk and roll or glam rock or, you know, hard rock, very, very specific kind of writing style. And I would only stay in that genre and I wouldn't try and stretch out. On this one moment you could have some like droney East Indian influenced electric song. And the next moment it's like, you know, a nice acoustic ballad or something.
Okay.
It really varies, and I try to keep it that way. And I want to be able to have a broad window.
Well, it's art.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be different things.
Yeah.
It's just an expression of you, and people have different parts of their personality.
And,
you know,
and a lot of times that's what I guess causes it to take so much time to put something together, because you have to find 3 or 4 or 5 other like-minded people who are wanting to listen to and work the same type of magic that you want to work.
Yeah.
And not everybody thinks the same way. You know?
we've had the fortune of, he's wearing a shirt right now. It's a Fever Tree shirt. There's another band called Fast Mothers. And
I am actually friends with the Fast Mothers.
Yeah.
oh, right on, man.
Yeah.
Bass player for one of my previous bands in Seattle was from Memphis and knew Chris and his brother.
Okay.
Nice. Well, we
Awesome.
can talk forever about them. For sure.
Yeah.
But and especially for me, kind of like I said, he's brought me into this whole community. Thankful for Jeff. And it's just enlightening to see the original acts and kind of finally experiencing that. Because you're right. It's such a different commitment.
Sure.
Cover bands are amazing. That's my career.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mine too.
You have to be dedicated. You have to show up prepared.
Yep.
So it's as badass. But the original side it's got that different dynamic where it's now it's people's heart and soul into it. So you're seeing someone genuine, you know, and not trying to play other people's songs, which just changes that dynamic.
It does.
Finding cover players is easier with regards. All you got to do is put together, okay, I like modern country. Here's a list of songs by artists. Do you, Mr. Guitar Player, is that the kind of stuff you listen to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do it. It's a little different when it's original music. You can't do that. It's
Here's a
coming
list of
from up
bands
here.
that I really like, and they may not make sense together
Right.
to you, but they make sense
Right.
together to me in my head.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it sounds like because relatively speaking, you started soon and then it was right before COVID. I would guess this is still like a clean slate.
Yeah,
just first
like,
beginning.
I've got a bunch of rough recordings that we did in my studio back in Seattle, and you know, I look at it as it's a place to start from. And
Sure.
I've got a whole set's worth of ideas and then some that aren't really finished that we never really flushed out. But
Right. And we asked Tim Dills when he was in here this question, and I think it applies here as well. So the writing process, how do you really approach that? Is that something where you come up with lyrics first and then maybe put some music to it? Or do you sit down at an organ or piano and come up with chords and structure first and then put lyrics to that?
that's like asking, how does a storm happen? For me, it can be any of the above. Like sometimes I'll just be sitting there staring off into space or watching TV, and all of a sudden something will click in my head and I'll jot down some lyrics.
Cool.
And, you know, maybe 3 years down the road, I might actually come up with music to go with those lyrics.
Gotcha.
Or on the flip side, you know, I'll just be noodling around on my guitar and I'll come up with something I really like and then think about any type of feeling or, you know, idea that might inspire me and then base the lyrics on that.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, just fit the mold, get those syllables in there.
Or, you know, it just comes from jamming, and sometimes I hear a cool drum beat. I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. And I suddenly start playing something and then words form and then you've got a new song.
Right.
Yeah. Just following the heart.
Yeah.
However it's
I really don't have a pattern or a rhyme or reason to how or why I write. I just write and it happens.
Yeah.
But you do hear these cool stories. I can't name them like specifically, but you do hear stories of some of these mega artists that we know that need structure. They're like, I go to work.
Yeah.
I write best Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And that's what they do every week.
Yeah, I used to, in Seattle, I would go out 3 or 4 nights a week and just sit in the bars and watch people and write and come up with, if I couldn't hear their conversations, I would come up with what they were talking about or what they were doing or what kind of feelings they were having.
Now, that's cool. I've never even thought of that before. That's neat.
Are you a fan of the Beatles?
Yes and no.
Controversy. No, I was kidding. No, I bring them up because it's well documented that in those early years, Lennon and McCartney would have to be like, all right, tomorrow afternoon,
we're going to write.
We got to write. Come
Yeah.
to the hotel.
Yep.
Let's I have an idea. I know you have an idea. Let's help each other finish these songs. And 3 hours later, they have a hit.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts,
Yeah,
So-
I wish I could write like that, but everybody has their own way of doing things.
That's just it. So, what do you do now? Like, what is your career, if you don't mind me asking?
I actually do IT support. I still work for a company back in Seattle.
Oh,
so you can work from home.
Yeah.
awesome.
So you were able to take your job with you.
Yes.
Damn, man.
That's
I
why
love
we
that.
did the move across country. Is
Yes.
both my wife and I work remotely, and it was never going to change. So we're like, well, we can move wherever we want as long as it's got high-speed internet.
And you chose Mississippi.
Does have that. It's new,
Yeah.
but no.
We don't
Sorry,
have it.
Mississippi.
No, we don't have it everywhere.
Well, we got a huge house with a bunch of land for half the price of what we had in Seattle.
Sure.
So, it kind of made sense.
right.
How long you been with that business?
I have been doing IT support for the better portion of 25 years.
Okay.
Nice, man.
After they kicked me out of art school, I always had a thing for computers and technology since I was a kid, just like with music. And so I fell back on that.
Wow, you're like balanced right and left brain.
Yes.
That's pretty. I'm 2 left brains. Seriously. All right. I don't want to dig deep, but I genuinely would be interested on your take on the Beatles. It's interesting because they're one of my favorite bands, obviously, and that's easy to say. It's like not some grand announcement. Yes, everyone, the Beatles are great and I love them.
Derek is special.
But I'd love to hear the opposite.
So the opposite for me is, while I love the Beatles, I've recently come to I can't listen to them anymore, namely because on our cross-country drive, my iPod decided to go full-on Beatles crazy. And even though it was on random, like every other song was a Beatles song. And so, you're driving 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, and all you hear is Beatles songs, every other song. You're just like, oh my God, I can stop.
I could get over that in a hurry.
Yeah.
No, they're one of the bands I can't.
You see,
it's always interesting.
I'm the opposite.
I love it.
People always look at me like I'm crazy being a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
2 bands that it took me a very long time to begin to understand: the Beatles and Led Zeppelin.
Wow. No shit.
When I was in high school, everybody loved Led Zeppelin. I didn't
How
get
could
it.
you not?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Please tell me you do now.
Oh, I do now.
Okay, good.
Several years ago.
That was one of the reasons I picked up a guitar and
really
stuck with it.
It started to click with me several years ago, and now I totally get it.
I get it. I get it. It's funny. Just today, I had, or the last few weeks, my daughter's friend in the car will play System of a Down. Of course, I knew about them and about their hits, and I always enjoyed the music because I'm I'm Metallica, Pantera. I'm on the heavy metal side of things, and so what band was I talking about?
System of a Down.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. Oh, we need it. Oh man.
So you can't even do that right.
And this is the stuff that we love keeping in.
Yeah, we're not going to edit this out.
So here's a sound that just explains me losing my concentration. Squirrel. Okay.
Yep.
System of a Down.
Yep.
So and then now it's clicking like there's such an interesting band. So now I can already tell that's going to be my new obsession. But it took me 20 years.
Right.
So I get that,
Yeah.
So Beatles, worn out. Are you into the Zeppelin, Rolling Stones? Because you did mention you like 70s, you like a little retro.
I might be a little bit into Zeppelin.
Just
I don't
a
know.
little.
Oh, there we go.
That's cool.
Get that up to the camera here.
Can we see?
Let's see that tat. Let's see. All right, Alex, let's
There we
move
go.
it to the center camera there. So explain the tattoo for us.
So it's the 4-member symbols from Led Zeppelin 4,
Okay.
all worked into Jimmy Page's symbol.
Awesome.
So yeah, you're a fan.
A little bit.
Just a little bit of a fan.
According to my mother, I was still in the womb at the last Led Zeppelin show in Seattle, and that's kind of how it all started.
John Bonham really is a magician.
Every member
feel,
of
man.
that band was just magician. Like the stuff that they could pull off in just a small 4-piece group.
And John Paul Jones, man, is such a biased bass player here, but I mean, his bass lines are every bit a part of the character and the sound and the riffs and the melodies. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, or the bass lines that he would play with his feet while playing keyboard bits.
Right, exactly, yeah. And then, but Bonham, to me, he's just got that swing that you can't explain. No one has that swing.
Yep, not even his kid.
No.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
He comes close, but
I'm a fan of Jason Bonham.
Jason Bonham's a great drummer.
Yeah.
Big fan, but he's not his dad.
Yeah.
Of course.
Nobody. I mean, it's just not going to be replicated.
Yeah, but no disrespect.
No.
He listens to the show. Sorry, Jason.
Look, I'm pretty sure Jason would agree.
Yeah.
He knows what he's trying to live up to.
Yeah.
And it's
big shoes to fill.
Yeah, pretty big shoes. So being from that area, and just meeting you today, what did you think about the Seattle movement?
Good question. I didn't even think of that.
So for me, it was still happening while I was in like junior high, early high school. And so,
me too.
So it sounds like you're my age then. I graduated in 96.
94.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I got to hear all the really cool stuff before like Nirvana became big. Like my favorite album that year, or the last couple of years of the grunge scene that I was into was Nirvana's Bleach.
Okay.
A friend of mine played it for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then
Classic.
I've always been a fan of Mother Love Bone, which is another great band that really didn't get its time. But, they gave us Pearl Jam, which is an okay trade-off, I guess.
First 2 albums, Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Beyond Versus, it's kind of hit and miss, but
they had their hits. And Pearl Jam's, what I love is still the original band, minus the drummers. Right. but they're still doing it. They're out there. God, it's just like, that's awesome. They really stood the test of time, and a lot of people still go to their shows because they're good artists.
And they still sell a lot of records.
Yeah, but that first album, Green Day, Dookie.
Oh, yeah.
Nirvana, Nevermind. And then I went backwards to Bleach.
Okay.
Those were some of the new grunge kind of vibes that I attached to me soon. But then the Metallica Black Album was right there with it. So
I remember seeing them on that tour.
It's a grunge movement, but man, Metallica was there just plowing ahead.
And then Guns N' Roses with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Yeah. So they kind of came out of the 80s and was like, they just launched forward. They got bigger where so many bands just kind of got lost, So that's exciting. You mentioned, you called it New Wave.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the term is for this style and era that I've always loved, but it is the Tears for Fears, the Simple Minds, the more of the In Excess. I always called it retro.
Yeah,
but
they were a little less synthesizer and keyboards. When I say new wave, I mean bands like early Depeche Mode, Pet Shop Boys, New Order.
Cool,
love all that too. I generalize and I lump that stuff in what I'm trying to explain. Like all that music, I love.
The stuff that I grew up listening to on the radio and would sit there with my cassette deck trying to get songs off the...
and the production too. Like it's full of melody and harmony. It's beautiful music. But then you just hear all the different little Easter eggs around and just those, and you will hear something new after listening to it 50 times. You're like, I didn't notice that shaker.
Yeah,
it's just really nice. I like it.
Yeah, Depeche Mode, I love them. I'm glad you brought them up. That was a great band. I really enjoyed what
I do some fun Depeche Mode covers for Songwriter and then also in my solo stuff.
Yeah, cool. And I don't know if we asked this already, but is there a website or a link where people can go to hear your music?
There's several actually.
Okay, well, spout them out because that's what
you asked me to remember things like that.
In the description.
We can always add it.
You will. No, I already have like them listed out. So I would like to add to it. Maybe after we're done.
Sure.
Give me some more links. But what I have right now is your Facebook, your band Facebook, your website, your SoundCloud link where you can find your music. And I noticed that you also put like the live jams in there, rough mixes. You're very clear on what you're getting. It's really cool. And it's a long list of songs.
Yeah.
It's a good chunk of music. So go click that SoundCloud link, and go see the music. And off mic, I'll get more links if you want to. Me to send people other places. So
once I've got a huge catalog of music between the last 4 bands that I've been in.
Okay. Cool. And once you are able to put the pieces of the puzzle together and have your band back the way you want it, are you looking to gig locally with original music? Okay. And you want
what kind of venues are you looking at? Have you done any exploring? Because we can kind of
I haven't
in some
yet.
directions.
I mean, I've gone to see 2 shows, I think, since we've been here.
Where'd you go?
One at Ernestine and Hazel's.
Yeah.
And then one, my God, I can't remember the name of it. But it was like a beer and wine only type little club.
Okay.
I mean, it was a fun club, but I'd play there maybe.
Are you familiar with Elevation Memphis? 'Cause
No.
they play the Ernstine's place a lot.
I'm pretty sure the Fast Mothers play there.
Yeah, that's where I saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Let's talk about Fast Mothers.
All right.
Yeah, that's so cool because we're just getting to know them too right now in real time because of this podcast. And as we are recording this on New Year's Day, we had a fun time with their whole band at Neil's Friday night and we got into depth in that already, but on a different episode. But characters, man, how long have you known the great Chris and Tracy Rubel?
I've known Chris for a couple of years now through Facebook. He used to jam with an old bass player of mine, Dave, and I think he might have been pre-Fast Mothers or during it. I don't know.
Okay.
But Dave and I met in Seattle with my band, the Kamikazes. He came and played bass for me.
All right.
And then I moved down here, and Chris is like, "Hey, man, we need to hang out now that you're in the area."
Cool.
Sounds like Chris.
Yeah,
it does.
Like we had dinner with them. Just me, Jeff, and Chris. We met at a Mexican place, Casa Fiesta,
something like that,
in Olive Branch.
Yeah.
And and then now I finally met Tracy. Just 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice, and like it was heartwarming and just cool to they love the scene so much, and they're so nice to us.
Yeah,
like they have open arms. Like, so Tracy literally. The first meeting I have, he's walking up to me with open arms and going for the hug, and we've never met before.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm down with that. Like that. Yes. I mean, that's just how I like to be too.
Absolutely.
So it's fun getting to know them. They're going to be in here too.
Oh, cool.
So their music too. I will say, I don't want to do this to them because when you start, like, in their sound, think of this amazing legendary band. It's unfair to them sometimes.
I don't think so.
In my opinion, though, the vibe I get from them is Blackberry Smoke, Black Crows.
I was going to say Black Crows, definitely.
I think that's good company to be mentioned in.
Yeah.
So
although I do see that Chris plays Black Crows all the time. So.
Yeah. But I've had the fortune to see Blackberry Smoke live, and he brings that same tempo.
Yeah.
It's laid back, you know, and it really just bounces and punches, and then everyone else in front of them on the stage are just amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, that's cool that we have that connection. Hopefully, hopefully they can play more. And again, we pray for Cricket.
Yeah.
So have you met Cricket?
I think I met him briefly at the show. It was really like time got monopolized between Chris and Tracy, and then my wife and I just enjoying the food and people watching.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
So it was like our first real going out show.
And where was it again?
Ernstine and Hazel's.
Okay. Yeah. Well, great. You know, I've only heard them at Neil's, but I would imagine you get more volume at Neil's.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's cool. So what does the future look like for you? Like, I know obviously you focusing on putting a band together. Is that like number one focus right now, or?
It's up there. I've also considered continuing doing my solo stuff. I used to do a lot of solo acoustic performances when I was in Seattle, and I'd make some originals that I wouldn't write for the band or, previous band stuff, a lot of covers, kind of a wide version or wide variation of stuff.
Right.
Enough to fill a 3-hour night?
No, God, no, I cannot. I long for the days that I could actually sing for that long, but like at 45 minutes to an hour, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to, I'm not a young kid anymore. So,
right.
No shame in that, bro. Yeah. So,
and plus, who wants to listen to the same person for 3 hours unless it's like Prince or Bowie, but that's not going to happen anymore.
No, unfortunately not. Well, look, man, it's been a pleasure to get to know you and have you in here. And I'm always going to invite people back.
Awesome.
So this
Sure.
isn't a one and done.
Sweet.
We like having conversation, and that was fun. That was unique because I don't know, we didn't know you so deeply. We just ended up bullshitting about music and who we like and everything. So
Well,
I hope people found that interesting.
We do know him better than we did when we started this thing.
absolutely.
So and that's the goal. And look, good luck putting the band together.
Thank you.
Hopefully you can do what you want to do and get out there and play and show Memphis what you got.
Yeah.
And
I'm
maybe,
looking forward to it.
Maybe even get in a studio and do some recording and get us some music we can all
Just
download.
keep going to shows. Go see Fever Tree. Go see Every Mother's Nightmare.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to see those bands because that's the circle that we're being blessed with right now, and they're good people.
And there is a local band here, and I'm gonna get myself in trouble because I can't remember names right off the top of my head, but they do a lot of Zeppelin.
Who does?
Yeah, good job, Jeff. I just squirrel me. Yeah. So anyway, just do a search for a local band that does Zeppelin covers. I'm a dumbass.
All right, before we derail here, let's we're gonna now tell the audience how to support. Right now, first you got to find us. So Jeff, where can they find us?
Facebook, YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and soon to be some other platforms.
Maybe. And YouTube, I want to really quick, if you already watch us on Facebook, because we do publish the full episode every Monday at 6, if you watch it, Jimmy Fault, with your wife in the living room,
that's so
if you're
awesome.
watching it on Facebook, just jump over to YouTube for us.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to support because full disclosure, and I don't hide behind this, it's a monetized channel and it will help give us some resources to continue this
like
thing.
300,000 of you guys watch it, we get $2.
That's right.
So
So
That's better than Spotify.
And then Patreon, go to our Patreon link in our description. We have a tip jar in there. It's just $1 a month if you can spare $12 a year. Again, that just adds to the pot here and would be hugely helpful. So, Jeff, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Travis.
Yes, and we'll do this again.
All right.
Absolutely.
Take care. Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.